focus of this video is on how we factor the sum or difference of two cubes. Here are two examples that we're going to look at. One of the things you need to remember is that the sum and difference of two cubes always factor to be a binomial times a trinomial. One thing to note is that the binomial is in a set of parentheses, as is the trinomial. That's very important to the factoring process. Let's take a look at m cubed plus 8. Okay? This problem is a factor of two cubes because m to the third power and 8 are both perfect cubes. When you start the factoring process, the first thing you're going to need to decide on is what exactly was cubed to get each of these terms that we see in the problem. Obviously, in this problem, m is what was cubed to get m to the third power. 8 may be a little trickier, but we can figure out that 8 is a result of taking 2 and raising it to the third power. So now we've established exactly what was cubed to get each term in our binomial. Now, to get the first part of our factored form, which remember is going to be a binomial, and all the terms are going to be in parentheses, we need to figure out how do we get those terms. Well, the terms in our binomial really come from what we figured out was the factors for what was cubed in the beginning part of the problem. We pull down the m, we pull down the 2, and we also pull down the sign. So our binomial factor for m cubed plus 8 becomes m plus 2. Our trinomial factor we're going to get by working with these factors in the binomial. The first term of our trinomial comes from taking the first term here and squaring it. So we have m to the second power. In the trinomial, the first sign is always the opposite of the sign that we had in the problem. Next term that we get, because remember this is a trinomial, we're going to have 3. Our next term comes from taking the product of these two terms. So that's going to give us 2m. Lastly, our last term always has a plus sign in front of it, and it's a result of taking the last term and squaring it. Okay? Remember that the first term was a result of squaring this factor. The last term is a result of squaring that factor. The last step in this problem will be to take the 2 squared and simplify it to get 4. So m cubed plus 8 would factor to be m plus 2 times m squared minus 2m plus 4.